Hey, welcome. It's Gomo from Old World Fanatics. I'm just covering my Old Hammer tournament that I just finished on the weekend. This is game one, as you probably would have seen from the thumbnail. We did cover this on our podcast if you haven't checked that out. But I did think I might break down the games one by one in separate videos, a little bit easier for people to see on YouTube. So just to catch everyone up, I took Orcs and Goblins. Oh, so actually, I should say Old Hammer was a 1750 point 3-game tournament with the Throne of Skulls comp, really, at 1750, which made it a bit different. And then game one, again, probably should have had this up here, was symmetrical sort of honest wargamer layouts, but with like a hill in the middle that you had to capture. Yet there was a 20-0 system, sort of 20-0, but you could, in the sense that it was, you could only ever get 17-3 at the best, so you couldn't even get 0 points. But then you got an additional 3 points if you got the objective, and game one objective was basically having more banners on the hill. For tying, it went to musician, and then if that was tied, you went to unit strength, and that's who got it. So my game one, well, actually, let's do my list here first. So yeah, just Orcs and Goblins, general, it's called Grand Army. So Black Orc War Boss on a Wyvern, great weapon. Trollhide Trads as Effigy of Morks, a -1 to hit, bit of a tank. I like this build, but yeah, there's probably some things, people coming in and out of this, I guess. Because you don't deal a lot of damage, basically. And I just noticed my face bubble here is behind. I don't know what's happening there. Ignore that. Goblin Odd Knob, Lawfamir, Elementalism. And so, yeah, you couldn't have a level 4 either. It was only level 3 max. So that's all he is. Night Goblin Big Boss. He's the BSB with the War Banner. Armor of Mork, giving heavy armor plus the Magic Res 2. Bit of a trial there, see if it made a difference. In Court, 12 Black Orcs, 6 great weapons, shields, full commands, obviously. Scoring unit that can sort of just hang back. Not a big unit, but, come in and help out, but not definitely the main sort of unit. The big unit, I guess, is the 51 Night Goblins, 3 Fanatics, Spider Banner. Yeah, so 351 points. Hopefully TMP this dude around and shoot large targets, basically, as people do. Little 5 Orc mobs, just needed chaff, which again, I'm sort of moving away from, actually. I'm not sure you need chaff in Old World like you used to. 6 Orc Boar Boy mob, Cab Spears, Biggins, Angry Lads, Flag, Standard Bearer. So yeah, going for, there's an objective where game 2 is like mountain paths. So the idea to have someone like this that's fast, get across the board. Yeah, they're frenzy, but I figure hopefully they can run into anything and overrun. So, and then I bring Josh and Andrew, my 2 giants. So a bit of fun, but also, in Old World, they're actually not that anti-competitive. I'm just obviously still trying to learn to use them. They're not dragons though, I guess. I was shit scared about game one. This came out maybe almost a week before the tournament. I did not know how to play against this. It's an Exiles list with the Green Knight. I have no magic weapons. That Baron can just roll me with his Peg Knights, 3 Peg Knights with his, the Vanguard banner. Royal Peg, Frontier Axe, Cromwell Great Helm, Virtue of Knightly Temper. If he runs into anything, I don't know. The only thing I could think of there is, try and shoot him basically by hopefully getting my Night Goblin unit close enough through magic or, if the way the deployment ends up, but going as wide as possible and just trying to shoot. The only other thing I thought too is if the Baron wasn't in there, trying to get my Black Orcs in line hammer formation to try to take the charge. But again, these are all things that are, at the end of the day, I can't dictate it. So yeah, I wasn't looking too forward to game one, to be honest. The Paladin, Falconhorn, as you do, so I'm going to have a movement for Wyvern. He's got a Ruby Ring, Demonology level 3, Wizard on foot, 6 Mounted Knights of the Realm, a big unit of 35. This is cool. I like this. Yeoman Guard, Thrusting Spears, War Banner, Grower Monk. So again, sort of like my unit of Night Goblins, a big unit to try and hold objectives and stuff. 13 Peasant Bowmen, the Peg Knights like I talked about, and Field Treb and Border Princess. So yeah, Exile Army, but yeah, pretty balanced in that regard. So not too bad. I can honestly probably say that this game was almost the most Warhammer. I don't know if it'll come across in the bat rep, but almost the most Warhammer and fun game I've had of Old World for a while, because it was ended up, not to spoil it, but ended up being so close. So that's what was pretty fun. And probably maybe that's a bit biased because I thought I was going to get rickrolled, but anyway, is what it is. So here we are with the deployment. I'll go through mine. So on my left flank's my 2 giants. The plan was, I did talk to some people of what the hell, what chance do I even have? The idea was, yeah, try shoot the Peg Knights and the Baron, because even if the Baron's in, not is the Baron, Duke, whichever way it was, Baron, he, you know, I can still hit the Duke, not randomizing, but, you know, distributing hits. I ended up putting my Night Goblins fairly central pretty early. Like, I don't have as many drops, I don't think, so I couldn't totally dictate that. But the Giants basically sacrifice 1, try to get in front of that realm unit and take the charge, counter charge, and try to kill that BSB. So that's the Giants are out on the left. Night Goblins not so much in the center, but I knew I could TMP them to the hill, and I sort of wanted to protect their flank with that building, so that's why I was sort of doing that. Black Orcs in the middle, but they weren't going to run up. They were, again, just going to hang back. Then my frenzied unit of Boar Boys and the little dart unit, which I put fairly early, and in hindsight, it was probably a bad spot for them, but it is what it is. Wyverns out the back, but hoping I get turn 1 that I can get Emmy out of there without movement 4, but it is what it is. Now, I sillily thought Green Knight came up from turn 2. I didn't, because there was a forest out to my right, so that screwed me straight away. He's got the Bombard on his, so on my left, looking at him though, he's got the Bombard, the realm unit with the BSB in it. His Peasant Bowman across the sort of the center there with the Field Trebuchet at the back. His Duke, is it Duke or Baron? I keep getting it wrong, but whatever it is, for Exiles, he wasn't actually in the Peg unit, which I think was a misplay and helped me, because I don't know what I'd do if that guy was in that unit and they just charged anything, they'd wipe it off, I think. Big block of Yeoman Guard with his Demonology Wizard next to it, and then, yeah, as I said, he's vanguarding Pegs out to my right. You will see this, and we changed this in turn 2. He didn't realise that those yeomen are in marching column. I played some of our players here, like ASB, who puts them in marching columns, Demonology, flies them across the board. So I thought that was his play doing that. But it turned out by turn 2 when I had I'll get into it, and I don't know if the photo shows this, but I have a potential charge with my Boar Boys on that unit. They wouldn't have rank bonus, and that's when I went, oh, maybe you didn't realise that. We talked about it, and I let him change it from marching column, because by that time I hadn't made any difference. So I felt, you know, I realised he's a fellow Novocastrian player, so I didn't want to, like, you know, I'm happy to take his backs, especially when you don't realise what he just did. So that was all good. Yeah, that's just some shots of his army there. The vanguarding Peg come up, but not close enough that my Boar Boys get a charge. I did get turn 1, so again, yeah, I TMP'd my Night Goblins on that hill, went wide, not as much as I could, because, you know, in a tournament, you don't want to, like, play around and, you know, piss ass around the times. I started trying to make some long movement trays, but didn't get it all done. So I went as wide as I probably could have, but I probably could have got a few more shots off. But at the end of the day, because of the range, I ended up only being able to shoot his Peasant Bowman anyway, because I couldn't use turn 1 to debuff his general on the Peg, so there's no use shooting him. He's got a 2-up re-rolling 1s. So I just, the best thing I had there was shoot Peasants, see if I can get them under 25 and see if they fall back in good order and make that Field Treb panic. Now, I can't remember if they passed this one, but they did actually fall back once, but yeah, weren't close enough to cause it to panic. Giants just go up. Obviously, I didn't like go full send because I didn't want to get in a turn 1 charge. I just wanted to see if he moves up enough, then I'll do my movement on the Giants there to try and block him. Now, over on the right here, again, in my head, I'm not thinking the Green Knight's coming up, so I went wide with the my Black Orcs. The reason being, at some point I thought if the Pegs get over there, again, that's sort of what I was thinking there, and I wasn't even sure. I thought maybe next turn I can TMP them over and they're in line. Not that they had to be if I'm TMPing them, but the idea being, depending on what his Pegs do, maybe I'll put them over there. So that's sort of why I ended up the way I am there. Yeah, it took off a few. Oh, no, it was. So turn one, yeah, I did actually make them fall back in good order, which is cool. But either they were too far away to make the field treb have to test, or I can't remember what happened, or he passed it, so it didn't really matter. Then his Green Knight comes up on his turn, which I'm like, oh, great. Fun. Probably should have the turn markers up on here, sorry. Yeah, so I didn't realize that. Probably should have read the rules, but is what it is. So yeah, he goes into my Orcs. Now, I was very lucky that just the way I had positioned my Black Orc War Boss, an overrun there does actually hit my War Boss, which I'm not 100%, and he got Falconhorn off. So at that point, I'm like, well, at least I've got close order. If he's not hurting me, then I at least chipping away at him. He's not, I can't hurt him, but at least, if he'd gone into those sides of the Boar Boys, then I'm screwed, basically. I think he did manage to, he magic missiled a few of my Boar Boys off too. I'm not sure I got that in a picture. But yeah, he starts doing some shooting. He's moved his Royal Peg over a little bit. But yeah, playing the defensive game here a little bit. Not much. Yeah, he's moved those Realm Knights up. But again, I can't charge them there. So we're sort of standing offish over here. Now, unfortunately for him, total Warhammer move. Shot his cannon into my left giant there, which is Andrew. Yes, Josh, actually. And rolled a 1 wound. So typical Warhammer annoyances. Yeah, so here, he'd killed 3 of my Boar Boys from his demonology spells or fireballs, something like that. So next turn, I just decide he's going to get a counter charge, but it's the best sort of hope I've got. I think we worked out, I hope we didn't get this wrong, that basically because of the extra initiative and stuff, we're actually, what was it? Yeah, he didn't roll as high on the counter charge. I can't remember what he rolled on the counter charge. But anyway, it would have been a push for initiative. So we're basically striking at the same time, basically. So that's why I went for it. Yeah, and I just pushed 12 inches with Andrew, sacrifice him right in front of that realm unit. Now I did form my Night Goblins back up again. I think it's because I thought he might be getting a charge over to the right there with his yeoman, and that's when I realized he was in the wrong formation. And anyway, so we fixed that. And we sort of, I think I'd moved them a little bit so that they were at least in the front art. Probably doesn't look like it there, but that's sort of what I did that for. Yeah, he's hit a few off. That's about it. Now you can see here I got a little orc. He basically chewed through and panicked. My little orc unit fled. Now I can't see. Yeah, so here he's overrun into the front of my general, and my Black Orcs just move up. Now what I was hoping is if I fall back and like if he beats me, I fall and I roll high enough and my Wyvern falls back in good order, that then I'm in a good spot to charge my Black Orcs into him. Now I'm not formed up nice because of that. I should probably be in ranks there, but I thought at least close order and banner I'm up to. And then if there's a give ground at some point, then I would reform. But I sort of wanted to keep a big line to stop his guy, like pushing back my guy and then getting around as well. So that's sort of why I did what I did there, or at least kept them that way. You can see too, though, yeah, I lost 2 Boar Boys, but wiped out his unit. Had to overrun, but also tested to reform, and they reformed and looking at his Demonology Wizard. So I was pretty happy at that point to go, wow, I got rid of the pegs. And with my position over there with the Giants on this Realm Knight, I'm like, oh, this is not too bad. Don't know what to do with this Green Knight. Don't know what to do about his peg guy, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, he did put 1 wound on me, I think, but I held or something, or gave ground maybe, and just bumped into my Black Orcs. So that sucked. Okay, so he did. He took the bait. He charged my giant. It was only an inch away, so he's not getting a heap of initiative. Doesn't need it against my giant, of course. But yeah, it's my only chance I have. He did take a shot at my other giant and Warhammer style rolled a misfire and then rolled a 1 and blew his bombard up. So I'm like, man, I'm getting some luck in this game. I need to take advantage because I thought this game was going to go south fast. Puts a big rock on night. He's just taking them off, you know. But you can see also here these moves he's raw peg over. Now, sort of wish I didn't make my night goblin smaller because he's a fair bit away, but he's close enough that that's an attractive time to potentially get my fanatics out next turn. And that's what I do. I end up getting Itchy Nuisance off on that guy, roll a 6. I don't know. I'm not looking at his stats, but he must be down to initiative 1 or 2 right now. And when you move my fanatics out, I needed to roll a 7 for the bottom 2 and an 8 for the top goblin to hit that guy. And I rolled a 2 and a 4, a 2 and a 4, and a 2 and a 4. They all moved 6. They all moved a 2 and a 4. And I didn't hit him. And I was like, okay, that would have been statistically average to hit him. It wasn't like it was all in my favor. But if I'd hit him, I think that's a game changer. Like, you know, I think I potentially could have killed him. And then without that guy, then I'm sitting pretty. Didn't happen. That's Warhammer. Up the top there, he did enough. I think he did 4 wounds on my giant in the charge. And I did my giant attack and rolled a 1, picked up his BSB and Ed butted him. So lost the Falcon Horn. So again, this turn just had great Warhammer stories all over the thing. But yeah, he did. I guess this is missed a turn sort of in terms of pitches. I had gone in the flank with my other giant. So overall, he beat me. So then they got pushed back, but he'd killed one giant and my other one pushed back there. But you can see here, it's going into his turn. Yeah, if I'd killed his Baron or whatever it is, Duke, I had a charge on him, but instead he's got a charge on me. Yeah, it's not pretty here. I think my video's lagging a bit. Sorry, guys. Add that back in, see if it makes a difference. Anyway, yeah, his turn. He goes in, wipes out my giant, really, and gets his Realm Knights out of there. It's a bit of a shame. He didn't, even though he's toughness 2, whatever, I didn't even get a chance. Wipe me off. So I've reformed, in my turn, I reformed my Night Goblins to take this charge. I've killed a few through shooting, but not much. Now my Wyvern's over here. So I think what's happened is it sort of worked how I wanted. I think I beat his green knight and he pushed back in his turn. So then I flew, did a march test, did a sort of an S wheel with my Wyvern to sort of come around like this. And basically I couldn't charge him. I think I moved those Black Orcs, kept him wide again, not so he couldn't get out of there as such, like made me the only sort of target worth charging, and did that. Yeah, poor giant, dead. And yeah, even just with the banner in close order, I popped his Green Knight. And then I reformed into these ranks thing. I'm going to get these guys on the hill, or if the Green Knight comes back, I shouldn't have put him that way. I probably should have kept facing that forest, to be honest. I don't know which turn this is, but it's probably into turn 4 or something. I charge in with my Night Goblins and the sorry, he'd probably charged my Night Goblins, did some damage. We just hung around, and then in my turn, I've charged in my Wyvern and right onto the edge there. And hopefully he can make short work of these guys a bit. But in his turn, Green Knight pops back up, of course, in this forest, makes the charge into the side of my Night Goblins. And his Duke's hanging out, coming back to get into the fray as well. You can see his Demonology Wizard's still alive up there. Obviously, she blasted off my 2 Boar Boys too, so I didn't think I'd get a chance to get her, but you never know. Now, this is where I start missing some pitches because it was a half an hour left and we were rolling, it all happened on the hill here. I'll probably have to end up talking through it. Basically, I believe, I'm going to have to move over to here and tell the story, sorry. Basically, Night Goblins got smashed down a bit, and what I did, because his Realm Knights were coming back, they had a banner, I put I TMP'd my Black Orcs onto the hill over here, and I think my Night Goblin, my Wizard joined them. And then what happens? Yeah. So they took a charge from the Realm Knights. And eventually though, they ended up breaking as well. And you can see they ended up popping through my Night Goblins who were continually losing, but just like they were just giving ground and stuff. And they're sort of hanging here. I think what might have happened, trying to remember, because I thought I TMP'd it. Maybe I didn't. I think they just kept falling back or giving ground, and they were still on the hill. BSB, sorry, my Black Orcs fell back and got over the top with my wizard in it. And at the bottom of his turn, that's where that ended up. So at the end of the game, that's where that ended up. My Wyvern was the one who ran down his Yeoman Guard, and rather than come back into that fray, chased after his wizard, killed her, overran. I didn't overrun, reformed, and then my last turn on whatever it was, charged his peasant bowman and wiped them out. So at least he cleaned up some of that. And luckily, my night goblins hung on hung on that hill. And so when we added that up, we both had a banner. He had a banner on the hill with his Realm Knights, which sucked because I really wish my Black Orcs would be able to wipe that out, but they just didn't. And the Night Goblins had a banner. So it came down to Muso. For a second, I didn't think I had a Muso, so I thought he won. So just before we did all that, he'd actually beaten me. It was 9-11 in terms of points, or 11-9 to him. And then when we looked at it, I checked my army list and oh crap, I did buy a banner. So then it went to unit strength and just the amount of, he's got 6 there, and then whatever it was 4, and I had 12 or something. It wasn't much, but it was enough to get the 3 points and jump to a 12-11 win. So yeah, it was a good game. And I think, again, biased a little bit that I was so negative, thinking that I had no hope. I think maybe if he's Duke/Baron, whatever it is, was in the peg unit, he would have, my ball boys would not have been able to take that out there, and they would have got wiped. He would have got in more into that sort of the guts of my Black Orcs and all that, and wiped that back end in my general. And then, I probably wouldn't have done a whole lot. So I think that was a bit of a misplay, and I guess took advantage of it. But yeah, it was fun. And look, at the end of the day, I got screwed probably not being able to roll high enough on my fanatics. That might have turned it too. So that's just Warhammer for you. And I enjoyed game 1, and I was pretty happy to get a win on my first game. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. And I'll check out game 2 when I get that up.